Shafide, welcome to Only Cars. In today's video, I'll be sharing my experience about buying a second-hand car at WeBuyCars. So, was it a good or a bad experience, or maybe a bit of both? Stick around to find out. The car I am talking about is this 2006 Polo 1.9 TDI Sportline. I mean, look, besides worn brakes, a sagging roofline, a malfunctioning passenger window, and other issues, the car was mechanically sound. The price of the vehicle was 73,900 rand. Mileage was 200,034 kilometers. I almost did a Bob Jacob Zuma there. However, regarding the mileage, I found information contrary to that, so you have to stick around to find out. Anyway, here are some cars that caught my attention while I was viewing the Polo. I think this is a Golf 6 GTI. Not that I was going to buy the vehicles, man. I only had 73,000 and that was all. This is a Golf 7.5 GTI that I also saw, looking really mint. Yeah, you know, sometimes when you go to WeBuyCars and you just buy cars with your heart. Yeah, because you're just broke, you can't really afford anything. So I was doing that. I was purchasing vehicles with my heart because my physical pocket was not deep enough. So yeah, here are more Golf 7 GTIs that I also saw there while viewing the Polo. I think I was waiting for the guy to come with the key so that we can go and test drive the car. So yeah. Anyway, fast forward to July 2023 after the snow. Not exactly, about 2 years later, this is how the Polo looks like. The dent was not there, it was not me. I don't know how it created itself, but it was not me. So we'll just do a quick walk around the car so that I can appreciate it. So this is how the car looks like. I think one thing that stands out are the rims. I had to change them, not because I wanted to. I had a crisis, something I'll cover later in the cost breakdown. So this is how the car looks like. The back, I like this part, love this part. The absence of those rear doors, yeah, it makes the car, man, sexy. Okay, maybe not sexy, but yeah, it makes the car look good. This part. And the rims, man, the stock rims for me make sense. So this is how the car looks like in front. Now we're gonna check the interior. Interior wise, still the same. The seats are still okay. No tears or anything. The rear seats, look, this is not a place for old people, especially in long trips. Forget it. Yeah, maybe for your children and your dog, they can fit there comfortably, but for normal people, forget it. They won't be happy. But yeah, the car still looks okay. 2 years later, I think the build quality from VW is quite impressive. The car from the back again. No, actually here the car was idling, so that's why I went there at the back. Now we're gonna check out the engine. So this is a 1.9 TDI, as I've said before. 96 kilowatts and 350 Newton meters of torque. So it's quite a strong engine. You know, it's quite a strong engine. So yeah, so this is the Polo TDI now. This is the Polo TDI now. Hey man, I've run out of things to say. Anyway, So now what I'm going to do a cost breakdown. All the money I've spent with the car, I'm gonna do it now. Let's start with the issues. Issue number 1 was the clutch. I spent 7,500 Rand on the clutch and the radiator because the mechanic was fixing my car, broke it. Okay, so it's money that I had to spend, unfortunately. This was me trying to fix the clutch. I failed because this gearbox is heavy. I had to ask a friend of mine to come and help me, but eventually I gave it to the backroom or backyard mechanic, who also broke the radiator. But yeah, this was my attempt at fixing the vehicle. So here's the radiator I'm talking about that the mechanic broke. Yeah, so man, I was quite angry, because I had to buy a new radiator. So that was the damage. The second thing that I had to do was the timing kit. So I bought the timing kit and the total was about 4,900 Rand. A bit of background here. The timing kit is about 2.5. The other 2.4 was because the car was out of time. So I asked the mechanic to fix that for me. And yeah. So I spent about 4,900 Rand. It could have been more, but this is pretty much the amount that I spent. So here, the car had a clunking sound there.
Terrible.
Yeah, the car had serious problems. Only to find that the water pump had seized. You're gonna see the picture of the water pump just now. The water pump had seized. Like that. So yeah, that's how the car sounded like. So here's the picture of the water pump. You can see right about there, there's a problem. Yeah, there's a problem. But this is a picture of a water pump. The third thing that I had to replace was the expansion tank. This is the expansion tank or the water bottle. So I had to replace this for 500 Rand. So it was an easy job. It was an easy job replacing the expansion tank. Next thing I had to replace was the thermostat, which was about 200 Rand, plus minus 200. It could be less or a little bit more, but yeah, that's what I did. Here's a picture of a thermostat. So a brief story about the thermostat and why I replaced it. The car was not getting up to temperature, so I'll be driving the car for long distances and it will be recording maybe 30 degrees. I'm like, I know there's a problem. So I went online, researched, and then they said I must replace the thermostat. I replaced the thermostat and the issue was sorted. So it's not normal for your car to stay at 30 degrees when you've been driving for 1 hour. And it also affects your fuel economy. The next issue, remember I spoke about the rims. So I spent 5,500 Rand for those rims that you saw. Remember I mentioned that the rims had issues. So the issue was that I hit a big pothole, a big one, but I was not really going fast. Those rims were just too weak. So you'll see a picture. Here's the rim I'm talking about, and you can see there there's some damage. It's basically bent. So yeah, that's the reason for changing the rim. I tried to find a replacement and to fix it. I couldn't. No, it was beyond repair. Here's the pothole that I hit. Golden Highway, So I didn't want problems, so I replaced them. Another thing that I had to fix were the shocks and brakes, which cost me plus minus 4,000 rand. The expensive item here were the shocks. I remember they were going for about 3.4. They're going up for about 2.4. The shocks were completely worn out. If I had passengers, it was a problem. The car will just sit on the floor. So I had to replace them. And I also took it for testing. They were like, you need to replace your shocks. So here are the shocks. Not that this is an indication that the shocks are worn, right? But it can be an indication, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I had to replace the shocks. Next item was the front disc and the brakes. Yeah, those were about, put together, it was about 1.6k, 1,600 rand, replacing the front discs and the brakes. So the car was the brakes were not okay, so I decided to replace the discs and the brakes. Yeah, so far the person spending money. So yeah, here's a video while I was replacing the brakes. So the reason why is that sometimes I take pictures of videos, it's not for others. So this video is not meant for people. It was actually meant for me because I did not know how to replace brakes. So by taking a video, yeah, it serves as a good way to remember how things work or how I did that particular job. So yeah, this is it. There you go. This is it. There you go. Okay, so go like this. Bam. Easy. And then the next thing I had to replace was also the starter motor for 500 rand. I found the starter motor on Facebook Market. So I drove to some guy who was stripping his car and I bought the starter motor. The car was not starting. So yeah, I went to buy a starter motor and I've been using that one ever since. So this is the damaged starter motor. If you look at the sides, I had to take it apart to find out what was the issue. So I took it apart and this was the damaged one. And I bought a replacement. 500 rand was the price. 500 rand was the price. And then the second last thing that I had to fix was a vacuum pipe, which was about 1,000 rand. So the vacuum pipe that I'm talking about, its function is to boost your brakes. né? So when the vacuum pipe had a leak, my brakes were hard and the car was not boosting, the turbo was not boosting the car. So it had that dual function or functionality, the brakes and also to boost the turbo. So here's the vacuum pipe that I'm talking about. I had to take the part number there so that I can get the correct replacement. Yo man, hey, when it comes to cars you have to work. Especially second-hand cars, you have to do a lot of work. But I enjoy working on cars, so it was not really a biggie. And I also learned in the process. So it's very important that when you are replacing a part, you have the number, the part number. And the last thing that I had to replace recently was the drive shaft. It was about 1,700 rand. So when I bought the drive shaft at Goldwagen, they did not sell the complete unit. They gave me parts of the drive shaft. So I bought parts of the drive shaft because they didn't have it as a complete unit. And then I went to Bosch in Edenvale for assembly. So they assembled everything for me for about 600 rand. So the drive shaft from Goldwagen, the pieces They're about 1.1, 1,100 rand, and for assembly is 600 rand. This is how it looks like when it is assembled, but you can buy them assembled. So that's the drive shaft. So those are the 10 things that I spent on the car for the past 2 years. Those were the 10 things that I spent. So now I hope people had their calculators. So for my 2-year ownership of the car, I spent about 28,800 rand. I think it's more because I had to buy other things for like tools and etc. I think it's more. So what do you think? Was this a wise purchase or I got robbed? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. So that's how much I paid for the car to fix it. There are still some other issues now, but I'll see them later. So yeah, 28,800 rand. That's the money that I spent on the car for the past 2 years. Now, remember I mentioned that the mileage was 200,000 kilometers when I got it. 200,034 kilometers. Actually, I found out that the mileage was actually 260,000 kilometers. So if you do your math quickly, the car, even though on the odometer it was saying it had 200,000 kilometers, actually it has 260,000 kilometers. So someone doctored the mileage of the car, because I went to someone who connected to a scanner. It's a professional mechanic, this guy, after purchasing the car, and they found that it had 60,000 kilometers more. The shock I had. Yeah, I'm like, the car now has 230,000 kilometers, meaning that if we total everything, I think the car now, the actual mileage is 290,000 kilometers. So I'm not saying that WeBuyCars doctored the odometer, but between them and the person who sold the car, there was fishy there. So yeah, that is my Polo, guys.